Hey everybody, an encouragement from Jeff here today for you if you feel like you're in the fog. I think as a people, as a nation, as a planet, as a church, many of us are probably feeling like we're in a foggy time. Have you ever been in the fog, like driving your car when it's, so foggy that you can't really see much more than 20 or 30 feet ahead of you? You don't know what's ahead, you don't know if there's a car, you don't know if there's a traffic light, you don't know if you're even going in the right direction sometimes because you can't see the road signs. And you can't see behind you either. You don't know if, what's behind you. Everything just feels confused and you kind of feel lost and you feel like I know where I'm supposed to be going, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. And I've really felt that way. I think a lot of us have, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel that way in your faith, in your family, in your marriage, in your singleness, in your ministry, in your career. The whole world kind of feels like that right now. And I was thinking on this the other day, and I just really thought of a lot of the ships of pioneers when they would sail across the oceans and channels and seas, and they would have times when there was fog and they didn't know what was ahead. And they just had to rely on their instruments, the stars. And I was just really thinking about this a lot in the last few weeks, and then there was a real foggy morning the other day, and I thought, I think there's something to this. I found myself studying in Acts 27, and it's a story where Paul is being, captured and being taken, away against his will. And, the storm comes, they can't see where they're going, they have to throw all their tackle overboard. It says that there were no stars or the sun in the sky that appeared for many, many days, which means it was so windy, rainy, and foggy that they just couldn't see anything. They had no idea. And then it even goes on to say it's this sort of progressive despair of the crew. And it says that all hope of being saved was gradually abandoned. We sort of, in a way, are in a place like that. People on the earth have really become hard-hearted in the last year, I've noticed. And in the midst of all that, Paul says to the crew, take courage. God has a plan. We're going to make it. And so I want to encourage you, as I think about this, as you think about perhaps a boat in the ocean that's surrounded by fog, old orders are good orders. Old orders are good orders. If you don't know what to do next, if we as a church, as Christians, as a nation, if we don't know what to do next, old orders are good orders. Do the things that we know are the right things to do. If you're in a boat and you're lost in the fog and days have gone by and you've lost your food and you've thrown your tackle overboard so that you can save weight so that you don't sink, and you're taking water and you have no landmarks, what you do is you follow the instruments, you follow the charts. You say, okay, I know if we head in this direction for this many more miles, we're going to reach land. I really feel like that's a parable for us today. And there's a story that you might check out. It's in Jeremiah 29. My wife actually shared this with me when this pandemic started a year and a half ago. I thought it was really wise, and I've really thought about it since then. It's Jeremiah chapter 29. Verse 5 and onward is what you might want to read. And it's just, it's the people in exile, and Jeremiah's prophesying to them. And he says to them, hey, you're in exile and God put you here for a reason, but plant and eat of your gardens and start families, take wives, take husbands, have children, pray for the peace of the nation you're in, be kind to others. And he goes on and says pray, and then he tells them something crazy. He says, guys, he actually says this. He says it's going to be 70 years that you're here. And then we have that famous verse that we all quote, often out of context. I know the plans I have for you. They're plans for good, not for bad. And I'm going to do something good. And so all of that is given in the context of exile when they're in a place that's unfamiliar. And he says, keep your chin up, keep your courage, and keep doing the right thing. I'll close and just say practically, really what does that mean for us? Old orders are good orders. Guys, we got to keep doing the things we know are right. We got to keep being kind. We've got to keep loving the poor. Guys, it is not a time to isolate. It is not a time to coop up and be alone. I know it's hard to get out. I know it's hard to build friendships. I know people have changed. Things have changed. Everything is weird. But push ahead. Seek the Lord, the Word of God, meditating on it day and night, sitting alone in the presence of God, you know, finding friendships, even if you're outside. This is what I do. I just walk. I mean, I've always done this, but now with pandemic, I'm trying to stay indoors less and outdoors even more than ever. And just walk out in the heat with people. You know, just be together, just push into those friendships. They are so crucial. Make church activities if you can. We're trying to do things as safely as we can. And, you know, follow the old orders. Old orders are good orders in the fog. Keep your eye on the charts, the graphs, the stars if you can see them, the landmarks that you know. Follow those things and they will produce good fruit. The Word of God is true, and this is what it tells us. So it's a privilege to be together in a time like this, and I think there's great things ahead, and our faith is going to, it's gonna produce really neat and new stuff as we push on together. I hope you're encouraged by this. The fall's coming, and it's a privilege to be your pastor. It's a privilege to be in church together. I'll hope to see you soon.